Yeah, let's go ahead and start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jack W. Balch,
Present.
Mr. Kevin Hom,
Present.
Mr. Craig Steckler,
Here.
Mr. Al Huezo.
Anybody, this is loud with that microphone. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I move.
Anybody what?
You want to second
You want a
the?
second?
Oh, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Any oral communication?
There are no oral or written communications at this time.
Okay. I think that we will wait just a little bit and Bob should be here.
Yeah, I should be here in a second. So, Ed, can I ask a question?
Sure.
You want to give us an update about workers' comp and how that's coming along since
Well, actually,
last time we met,
yeah.
it was, you had some stories for us?
Yes, so we actually just had all our insurance, our primary insurance consultant that set up the OSIP for this program, and the representatives, the safety representatives from Aon here just last week. Wasn't it last week that they were here? And they were here to have a luncheon for all the workers because the safety record has been so good. So what we got in terms of a status report, or last time when we talked, we had one near miss back in the spring, and that had to do with a steel girder that broke off a cable. And I think I reported then that got investigated and work stopped, and presidents of all companies came out, and we had no further incidents as the rest of the steel erection, and we've had no further any major or really minor incidents. It was reported out to us last week that we're into this about, I think it's 15 months. Yeah. So 15 months into the job, our workers' comp actual expense is $4,000, and they've got a reserve of about $40,000 for something that may develop. There's like one other incident, one other potential injury with the guys working. So, I mean, the experience and the safety record has been excellent, and our exposure so far is really excellent. So the project, from a safety standpoint, is really going well. And they're doing things to recognize the workers as we go along. So that was a luncheon. At the luncheon, they do things like raffle off big screen TVs and things like that. So they're actually incentivizing guys to make sure that it's safe, and that there are things that they're doing to incentivize it. So really good record so far. And they have Rudolph and Sletton has a good safety record. So we're gaining the fruits of that.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's bad luck to talk about it.
Well, of course, you're right.
You have some guy walk out the end of the building or something.
You're right.
Yeah.
Historically, when we've had big projects here, it's not unheard of to have a significant injury. So it does happen. And, knock on wood, we'll continue with this.
You actually had no lost time action.
That's good.
Okay. So with Bob not here, why don't I start with, we can talk a little bit about the garage and the schedule on the garage. So last time we reported that we thought, oh, come on up when you're ready, and you can take over from me. But last time we reported that we thought we would be done with the garage and parking in it early to mid-June. And I think I also reported that one of the big issues, or one of the remaining issues, was a tie-in of sanitary sewer lines and storm drains. And we went round and round with the Alameda County Water and the district sewer, Unified District, yeah. And we ended up rerouting everything to go through the central plant, because we had so many problems tying into Bartway and so many delays that were associated with it. So we rerouted things through our central plant, and then were able to proceed. But that was our biggest cause of delay. And right now, you can see, I think we got the temporary permit the week of the 4th of July.
Yeah, we received the TCO on July 5th, and we will be applying for the certificate of occupancy on the 29th, which is a week from Friday.
So we were able to move in after we got the temporary, but we're basically, until we get all the security things in line, all the fences done, all the security fences in place, we're waiting to get that done before we open it up. So if you want to talk a little bit more about the schedule or any other,
Right now, as Ed probably maybe touched on, we're finishing up on the landscaping is going in as we currently speak. That's expected to be done by around Wednesday of next week from today. The exterior fencing, these are all things that we need to get done for the certificate of occupancy. So we need to get the fencing in, which will be done probably about this time next week as well, maybe by Friday at the latest. So we'll be calling for the certificate of occupancy inspections Friday, the 29th. Hopefully they'll be out here very shortly thereafter, do their final walkthrough, and we should be good to go. We can use the garage right now, but as Ed expressed, we want to wait until we get the final certificate to do some other security measures of our own.
the only other thing that is, the only other real construction work going on is the BART building that's on the other side of the garage. And we're finishing up that.
That's substantially complete as of today.
Okay. So there is some tenant improvements that have to go in. We're doing basically the core and the shell, and some utilities and things like that. But BART is supposed to do their own tenant improvements, and so we're still working through that with them. But our part of it, with the city is basically complete. Okay.
Yep. Any questions on the garage? Okay, well, Morris Hyman, as you can tell by our walkthrough, and which is also, it's with that, the cumulative pay graph and the planned and spent graph chart, we're basically very much on schedule. We're within 3 days of being exactly on schedule. I think we were within 5 days last month. We've gained 2 more days. So we expect to be totally back on schedule before our next visit by you folks. The building's being weatherized now. Exterior skin will be going on shortly. The balance of the air handling units that go up in the roof, that starts on Tuesday. The crane will be here Monday. The inspections are pass-fail percent. We're at 99.9% on inspections, first request. And we're currently having a lot of success with the relationship with OSHPD, the district structural engineer, fire life safety officer, and such. Being able to get some field approvals in lieu of going to Sacramento, which is a big deal time-wise, has a lot of effect on the progress of the work in the field by being able to do that. So we're continuing to meet twice a week with the OSHPD officials here on site.
Okay. questions about the schedule for Hyman Pavilion?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You want to talk about the cash flow?
Sure. As I touched on, the planned versus spent, that were, on the garage itself, because of the lack of the garage on the progress, the red bar is the billings, the finish. This bar out here is primarily your retention and contingencies, allowance monies are in here, and whatever needs to be spent out of that and expired, that'll show up in our next, on our final pay app situation. Here's the other one on the cumulative spend plan for the red bar is the actual, blue bar was as planned, and as you can see, we're finishing out here in the end of July, 1st of August timeframe. On the phase two, we're running very close to the spent as planned. And actually, skipping ahead, this is through, I believe, May. And actually, when you get out here to our invoices in July, we will be neck and neck. It'll be almost dead on by virtue of the pay app I received today for the month of June. So we're the forecast is very healthy for that. And here's the cumulative graph where you can see it's almost neck and neck. It's almost flat on. And all the documentation is in place, all the lien releases, everything, all the whatever insurance and bonds, and all the paperwork is very current.
Any questions? Thank you.
Looks good.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try to wrap up on the key numbers here and how we're doing. I think you've heard a lot of good news from Bob there, so I'm going to repeat a little of that. The garage, I think the good news is that we are right at occupancy now after a somewhat delay getting there. But as we look on the lower right over there in the change order status, they are running only 5.4%, and which is pretty good. And it appears that we will be finishing within our budget with and leaving, not using all the contingency that's in the contract. So that's the good news. I don't think there's anything. Let's move on to the pavilion.
The only thing I was going to say is,
unless there's
again,
any
the
questions,
change
if you
order.
have questions here, we'll be glad
Yeah,
to.
the sole change order was the BART building. So that's what the nine is. There's been nothing else of significance besides that.
Okay, on the pavilion, we kind of walk through the numbers there. The contract shows that we've earned 31% of the contract amount this is through the end of May. And at this point, we've got no change orders that have been approved. We do have, and I think I mentioned this in the previous meeting, the architect is proceeding with some improvements to the loading dock and to the plaza and to the ED modular work, and that's budgeted at 3.5, so we show that as a pending change order to the contract, since it was not in the original contract, but we did have an allowance for it in the project budget. So on the left side, we're running it through the end of May again is 37% elapsed time. So we got about a 6-point spread. So that's improved a bit over the last period. I think we had about maybe a 7% at that point. But the really good news is on the schedule status, the float shows we're ahead by 4 days, whereas we were behind by 6 days in the last reporting period. So the contractors gained something on the schedule. And I think that's due to a couple of things. One is we're getting out of the rainy season when they were being impacted. And then two, I think they're just picking up momentum now. You could, when you walk through the building, you can see that we have a lot of different trades in there working now. And so long as they can all be productively working together, the progress will go quickly. I think we're running right at about $7 million a month now on the earnings on the job. So that project is proceeding quite well.
I have a question. I saw that the roof and the siding was scheduled to be completed in June of next year, if I'm not mistaken.
The exterior siding.
As far as the roof being watertight, so we're not affected by rain, when will that be? Or is there enough
You've hit
now?
on the same question that I asked the contractor at the last meeting. And the answer was that they anticipate getting weathered in late September or early October, in that time frame. Now, we might get a couple of days rain in September. October, you begin to get a little more. So it's going to be very close to when they could get some rain. But for the most part, they think they'll both have the roofing in place and they'll have the exterior wall up and then have them tied together at the top of the coping on the walls. So it looks like we're going to be close to getting completely weathered in, at which point we really won't have to worry about, rain days impacting the job, except towards the end where we're doing some site work. You probably noticed that the parking lot, that asphalt is pretty well demolished out there, so we'll be out repaving that before the job's over with.
Yeah, my understanding on the reason they got a July date of next year is that during the winter, they have to keep a section of it open for the lift and such to get in, so they'll have it all of this cleaned off. So it won't actually be, closed in
Right.
100%, but I don't
Enough to
know,
control.
95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the overall status, very, very positive, and the job really seems to be gaining momentum. I think that's the good news, is we've gained over the last month, and it looks like they're really got the subs in there working well now.
I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
I want to follow up on the roof question. Is the same contractor that's putting the roof on, putting the glass over the opening
You mean the windows?
or window, whatever it's going to be over the top?
Oh, the skylight.
Oh, the skylight, yeah, that skylight. There's a big skylight over the atrium.
Right, but I mean, is the same contractor that's doing the roof putting the skylight in?
No, I generally those are a specialty item that's done by someone other than a roofer. They'll obviously be working closely together when they tie it in.
Will that skylight be done the same time the roof is done?
Yeah.
Or do we have a rain hole?
I'm not sure exactly how the timing of the roof. Generally, they would put the skylight in before they come in with the roofing. It's a single-ply roof, so they probably want to have that skylight already in place before they bring the roofing up to it.
Okay.
My guess is. But I don't foresee that the skylight would be an issue with getting weathered in. That's not something that's going to, I think they can time that such that they bring that in ahead of when they need it. Any other questions on the pavilion? Generally a positive report. As Ed was saying, safety has been really outstanding in my experience. We've had no lost time accidents on the job. The compliance with the OSHPD inspectors and oversight is going well, and we're looking good as far as our cost status, which Chris will be giving a more detailed report on that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Before we get into this, I just wanted to note that in June, we had an issue of GO bonds that were originally issued in 2006 become eligible for recall and refinancing, refunding and refinancing. And so we took that opportunity in June. On June 16th, we went to market with a refunding issue. And so we replaced this Series 2006 bond issue. It was $36.2 million of remaining principal on that debt. Average coupon of that original issue was 4.48%. We refinanced that for 2.59%. So in total, we're estimating we saved the residents of the district a little over $5.8 million over the life of those bonds, average of about $483,000 a year in reduced taxes. All of that accrues to the benefit of the residents of the district. None of that accrues to the hospital's financials. So, we had a really good opportunity. I wish I had more. We pretty much hit a historic low in the market for almost to the day for municipal bond financing. We thought it was the right thing to do for the residents of the district, and we went for it.
Very nice.
So moving into the financials, last time we left you, we had spent on the garage about $14.8 million. As of the period ended May 31st, in that period we had expended another $5.9 million, bringing total expenditures on the garage as of May 31st to a little over $20.7 million. So things going pretty well to budget to that point. Still had about $2.4 million of budget remaining at the end of May. So can we move that forward, Ed? Thanks. Looking at cost of estimate to completion, looks like at that point we've estimated about another $1.9 million of expenditure to complete the garage, and I think we're tracking pretty well to that. So that leaves us at the end of the day with really having to dip into our contingencies to the tune of about $464,000 based on the current estimates, but still coming well under budget by about $526,000. So project's going very well, and I don't think at this point we're seeing any real surprises, so we should be landing very close to these numbers. Moving on to Morris Hyman Critical Care Pavilion. Again, we left last time looking at about a little over $88 million in spend. Expenditures during the period ended May 31st totaled a little bit over $21.6 million, bringing total expenditures to date as of May 31st at a little over $109.6 million, and leaving still plenty of budget to finish the job. Estimate to complete the job as of that date was another spend of about $231 million, which projects us to come in under budget at this point about $5.8 million if we don't run into any surprises. Still have a long distance to go, but so far things are looking really good. Quick look at the financing. So total amount of funds available, including interest earned up to May 31st, was almost $311.9 million. To date, we have reimbursed ourselves $20.3 million on the parking garage and a little over $104 million on the Morris Hyman Critical Care Pavilion, leaving total obligation bond funds and accrued interest of about a little over $187 million. If we take into our account our additional financing resources of about $9.3 million, we're still headed towards a number to complete the building of about $3.7 million, and then of course we'll have to fund the equipment out of our own funds. But financial picture's looking pretty good on the job, and I don't anticipate any problems. Is there any question on the financials?
Not me. Okay.
Okay, with that, I think that concludes our report. The only thing I should talk about that will happen between now and the next report is we need to work on an annual report. So we'll, with the staff, will be working on that and bring it forward to you all to take a look at. So we need to regularly report out what's happening. Okay?
Okay. Have a meeting of October 19th. And then I had questioned you about a fifth member. Are
Yes.
we still looking for a fifth member?
We are, and I will go back, and we had approached a person that turned it down, so we will go back to the board and get a nomination.
Now, right now, with what we have, we need 3 out of the 4 to show here to have a quorum. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.